everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would talk about the Nintendo Switch, as its birthday has just passed. At the time of filming, this is March the 5th, and the Nintendo Switch was released 4 years ago on March 3rd. And so I thought, what a great video topic to discuss today and focus on the Nintendo Switch and wish it the happiest of birthdays, because it is a fantastic little console. And for today's video, I thought, I would sort of talk about my thoughts about the system, talk about the plethora of games that I have for the system, and go over some of my thoughts and wishes and things for the future that I hope Nintendo will do. So the first thing is, when did I get my Switch? Well, as I said, the Switch came out 4 years ago on March 3rd. Now, I did not get it day one. I actually waited 2 months to get my Switch. Now, when it first came out, I really wanted it. I was nervous, to be honest. I was nervous because this was a hybrid console. So I was intrigued by it, but also nervous. It was a hybrid console, right? It was a system that could be docked so that you could play it as an ordinary console that you would have at home, like the PS4 or Xbox One. And that was cool. At the same time, of course, with Nintendo, they're always full of innovation. You could pull it off of the dock and then take it to be portable. And so I thought it was cool. What a cool concept that is, to take your games on the go and have that seamless transition and just continue to play your games on the go, right? I thought that was great. And at the time, as a university student and someone who was taking the bus all the time, this was fantastic because I could just pick up and go. But I was also nervous because at the same time, I had a Nintendo 3DS, right? And I was nervous that because this was that sort of hybrid home mobile console, that they would that was the death nail of the 3DS, right? That Nintendo would no longer support it. And it didn't happen right away. It took time. But now, as we move on, the 3DS is quite quickly being left in the dust, if you will. But so I waited 2 months, in part because I like to wait with new consoles. Some people buy it day one. I wish I could do that. As somebody who, at the time especially, didn't have the money, and even now as a father and still finishing up my PhD, money's tight. So putting that money out for a new console to have something happen, like the Red Ring of Death when it was the Xbox 360, or what we're seeing now, for example, the PlayStation 4 having problems with their controllers, or the Xbox One having some issues. Series X, pardon me, the Xbox Series X having issues. I don't like to buy those problems and get it day one, because my luck would be I would have that problem and I wouldn't have the money to go buy another one or wait to get it fixed. So I wait until I get reviews and see what other people are saying. And so I waited and then got the Nintendo Switch 2 months after launch. And boy, was I ever happy to receive it. I got this along with, let's see if I can find it, Breath of the Wild. So I got both of these together, and it was a great time. I played like 2 or 3 hours of Breath of the Wild. Quickly got overwhelmed, of course, with Breath of the Wild, because it's quite a very different Zelda game. It's obviously open world, a little bit different than what I was used to. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is just going to completely suck me in. And at the time, my time was limited at best, even at that point in time. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I kind of put that away. But it has been great. I have played my Switch quite a bit. And I have to admit, as the last 2 years, I have been playing it a lot. It's been one of my console of choices, especially when going back and forth on planes or going on trains or buses. It's been great for that, as well as being able to pick it up and just take it anywhere in the house, even, right? to sit on the couch while my wife is watching a movie, or my daughter is watching, Peppa Pig or something. I can sit there and play some game on the Switch, or as in some cases, just play it in bed, right? Before I go to bed, my wife and I might be playing Pokemon or something, and you want to go lying down and play that in bed. You can do that with the Switch, which is fantastic. My wife, this is the base model that I have here, and my wife has the Switch Lite, and hers is the blue. And we got that as soon as it was announced because she just prefers the handhelds. And we'll get to that in a second, which I think is ingenious about this console, is that it's playing to two demographics, right? It's playing to the people who want a home console, and I think it's great. I have the dock, and I often play it using the TV. It's my preferred method, to be honest. But I appreciate, and as I said, to just pick up and go has been wonderful. And it's kind of funny because, for me at least, and for many other gamers out there, certain games I have just become accustomed to playing on a television. An example are things like Zelda titles. For me, they've always been something to play on a TV. And that just is because every Zelda game I ever had to be hooked up to a Nintendo system that had to go through the TV or VCR and then display on a television, right? So I'm just used to that. And so there are many games out here where I just, for some reason, have to play it on the TV. And I think it's because of that growing up and that nostalgia of always playing it that way. That's the preferred method for me. But then there are other games that are on the Switch. And this is where it's sort of that hybrid consoleness. Things like the Pokemon games. These have always mainly been on handhelds, right? The Game Boy, Game Boy Color, the DS and 3DS. So for me, Pokemon is always a handheld. And so I tried playing on the TV. It didn't feel right for me. And so I was so happy that I could just undock my Switch and then play it in handheld mode. So that is something that I enjoy about this console. And what I also like about this console is that, as I said, there are some people, like my wife is in this category, who do not like home consoles, where they like that portability and handhelds. And my wife is not much of a gamer, but she is very much, if she's going to play a game, likes it to be a handheld game. So she used to have a DS, and she used to play all kinds of games using the DS. I got her a 2DS 1 year, and she loved it, right? Because she prefers the portability aspect and can just play it in bed. It's one of her favorite things is to sit and play in bed or lie on the couch and play. So having the Switch, even in the base model, to just be able to play portably if you wished, is fantastic. It plays those demographics well. The other thing about the Switch, and this is partly why I think it's been so successful, is that's the reason. It's playing the two key demographics. It has sold, as of the end of this month, this is March 2021, it's going to be selling approximately 24 million. It's on its way to becoming the fastest and best-selling console. And I think that that's the reason, is in part it's playing to so many demographics. And the other thing about it, too, is that it's playing to a lot of different players. So there's obviously the hardcore people like myself and many of you out there watching this. You're going to buy it because it's a Nintendo product and it's got awesome games. We know that already. So we're going to buy it for that. But then there are people out there who are only interested, for example, in Pokemon, right? They only play Pokemon, or they only play, what's another good one? Mario Kart, right? Mario Kart 8, right? They only play Mario Kart, or I don't know, Smash. That's another great one. Where's Smash? Smash, right? This is what they play. And to have this as an upgrade, to have everything on it, right? Because they released, which is ingenious, the Ultimates edition or the Deluxe editions or the best editions you can get for that game. So you can get that, have the excellent graphics on the go. Or if you want it on a console, like on the actual TV, and play it as a docked home console. It's fantastic. It plays so well to so many different people, both casual and very in-depth, serious gamers. And I think that's why it's done so well. The other thing about it, though, that scares me about it is this concept that they had here for the Switch. you could see in the beginnings of the Wii U. Now, I was a big Wii U fan. I know most people skipped the Wii. Skipped the Wii U. Most people had the Wii. There was a big sensation. It was like everybody loved the Wii. Even I had a Wii, but I didn't like motion control, so I didn't play it a lot until I bought the controller that you can go with that, the Pro controller. But with the Wii U, people thought it was an add-on or didn't understand that it was an upgraded Wii. They didn't get it. They didn't realize it was a whole new console. And it's sad because there was awesome games on there. And the concept for the Switch was seen there. You can see it, right? Because you had that gamepad. And the idea of that was that you could essentially take your games from the TV and on to the gamepad if you wanted, and you could take it other places. Not too far from the console because there was a connection would fail if you went too far from the console. But the rudimentary ideas of the Switch were there in the Wii U. And you can also see that with a lot of the games that they've released. Most of the games that they have released, including recently, have all been Wii U titles. And they just made them the definitive editions, right? Like both of these were on the the Wii U. And I remember buying all the DLC at the time for them because I loved them both of them. And now you got the definitive editions for them. I mean, what's another game that they put out? Let's see. Yoshi's Woolly World, another example. Super Mario's right here, perfect example, right? It's got the U in the title because this Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. This used to be a Wii U exclusive. So in many cases, you end up with many first-party Wii U titles essentially going onto the Switch. And so this became just an upgraded Wii U, essentially, which actually, it's a double-edged sword. It's good for those who didn't have the Wii U, because for them it's a brand new title. But for someone like me who had them, it's sort of like, well, I already have these games. I've already played them. Yeah, they might be updated in better graphics, but what's something new, right? And it's nice to go back and see them. So I was a little nervous and leery that they were cannibalizing the Wii U. And, I understand why put more money into something and make new IPs if you can just take an older game, and just release it. So, that was something that I was worried about. And yes, there have been a lot of great new releases, things like Fire Emblem, right? The new Fire Emblem Three Houses, for example, a great new release. Luigi's Mansion 3, Just Dances, and Pokemon Let's Go. So there have been some good releases, don't get me wrong, but I was worried of that practice of putting out a lot of extra Wii U stuff that I already had. And so for me, that was an issue. Another big issue for me, and it's a double-edged sword, are these collections. I really loved the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection. I haven't played any of them yet, but I love the concept. And part of it is because of the idea of playing and keeping alive some of these older games that might not work anymore, right? Or are getting glitchy, or for the example of Mario Galaxy, I hate motion control with the Wii. That's the only way you can play it. It's nice now. I don't have to do that anymore. I can just play it as if I was playing another Mario game. So it allows me to keep playing older games and allow new gamers to experience older games in that way. It's why I also like the NES and the Super NES library they release on here for people who have Nintendo Online, right? Because it's keeping alive some of these older games that many people have never experienced, that are new players or a new generation of gamers can now experience these great classics. And I think it's wonderful that they do that. But I'm worried. And that is because this was a timed exclusive, and it saddens me that I heard news that they're sticking to it. I thought it was just a gimmick to get people to buy a lot, and it did work. They sold large numbers of this game. But because it was wildly successful, I'm worried that they're going to do that with things like Zelda or Pokemon or other IPs where they're going to release multiple collections that are timed exclusives. And what bothers me about it, and I know most physical games only print so many anyways, and technically all physical games are technically a timed exclusive. But in the age of digital, it scares me. It's one of my things I've echoed before about why I don't like digital media is that Nintendo is going to take these off at the end of March. Same with there's another game that they have that they've released. Was it Super Mario 35 or something that they're going to get rid of? I mean, that scares me, right? Because again, you don't own like if you bought the game, for example, if you do buy this, you can digitally, you'll always have it still. But the very fact that they can just go, boop, gone, don't want it no more, scares the crap out of me because these are important games that are part of history that they can just decide to close servers and close all this stuff down and we can never play them again or get access to it again, right? And that's something that I don't want to see. And I don't like that idea. I understand if you don't want to release physical copies anymore, fine. But why are you taking it off the shelf? I don't like that. I don't like that. So there's a lot of practices like that I'm worried about that might continue because it wasn't wildly successful. They got me. As soon as I heard it was a limited thing, I thought, oh no, I'm buying it without even considering anything else. Because I first off have a lot of memories, and those who have been on the channel before know I really like Super Mario 64. It has a lot of important memories for me. So playing it on the Switch instead of having to play it on my DS or on the original Nintendo 64 is nice, right? And it's that good convenience. So it's a double-edged sword. I have a love-hate relationship with Nintendo and some of the practices that they do. I wish they would allow more people to play the games and stream the games to show their love for Nintendo without them doing copyrights and things. They were good for a while, and then I hear they're starting to have problems with that again. And I'm really glad that they have kept allowing indie developers to continue to release games on the Switch. And they've learned that back in the day of the Wii U, right? They're trying to get as many games as possible. They allowed indie developers and then you get all these cool games. I'm glad they continued that here with the Switch. So overall, I think the Switch has been wonderful. I think it has had I've had a lot of fun. Personally, a lot of fun and a lot of great memories. So many great memories, especially with Pokemon, mainly because of my daughter and my wife. My daughter's obsessed with Pokemon because she watched me play through Pokemon Sword, the DLC. My wife, it was so fun to just go through together and play these games together and catch Pokemon in battle. And there's so many great memories. Another great memory, both for my wife and I, this is one of my top games for 2020, was Animal Crossing, right? This great game, the new Animal Crossing, New Horizons, wonderful, great game on the Switch. I think the Switch is great. I think that the games on it are fantastic. There's a lot of good things about it. I'm nervous for some of the practices. I'm nervous that more collections that are only limited time will be released. That is a worry of mine. I am worried that they might just keep cannibalizing the Wii U and having less and less new games for us who bought a Wii U. But yeah, other than that, I think it's going to be really, really fun. I like the Switch personally. It's been a great system. The only issue physically, and this is a warning out there, I know Nintendo has this weird back and forth about it, where they say there's an issue, not an issue, not an issue, not an issue, is the Joy-Con drifts. So you can see that I've got the watermelon color Joy-Cons here. Originally, I bought the black one, where it was the Joy-Cons were black on either side. And I didn't have a problem, right? There was a beginning, they were saying if you put this in the dock too much, it would warp and that. I never had any problem with warpage or anything, which is great. But I was hearing about this Joy-Con drift, and I never had a problem. It didn't have any issues up until maybe about 5 months ago. I started to notice when I was playing, what was it now? I think it might have been Pokemon actually, where my character was drifting towards one side. I wasn't even touching it, and it was actually just spinning and drifting. And I thought, that's weird. And I tried to, fix it, and thought maybe it was just something that happened with it, and see if I could fix it, and it wouldn't work, and it just got worse. So I had to buy new Joy Cons for that. So there is an issue with Joy-Con drift at times. So be on the lookout for that, because these Joy-Cons are expensive. Right here in Canada, I dropped $79 for them. Like, so $80, right, for two Joy-Cons. That is expensive. So that is an issue you should look out for. But other than that, though, great console. I really enjoyed it. A lot of fun. So with that, guys, I hope you all have a great day. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you go out and play the Switch. Go get some birthday cake and enjoy it. And hope that the Switch is here for another couple of years. I know normally this is due to the end of the life cycle of many consoles, but I have a feeling the Switch is going to be around for a little longer, especially with that Switch Pro that's announced and rumored about. So I think it'll be here for a little longer, which is good. So with that, guys, take care, and I hope you all have an excellent day. Bye-bye.